They told me you can't do that here, Beanie. It might sound good in one of your books, but this is a construction site. You can't build a learning environment here. But I didn't start with a touchy-feely feel-good program or some poster. It started with a shelf. One shelf, a few books, a marble, a cricket ball, and a football. That's how you build a learning environment. Not with noise, but with signals. Signals that say, we improve here and we think here. We actually give a about getting better together. Human beings don't just need motivation. They need a purpose, autonomy, and a shot at mastery. When you build that into your environment, your team will grow and they will improve. And what happens next is they start to own the change with you. You want to build your culture? Start with a shelf. All right, before we get into this today, been watching along, you're probably thinking, oh, this sounds far too simple, Benny. Okay, projects at the scale of the snow hydro, they're just not that straightforward. It can't just be about behaviour under pressure. Well, we're going to shift that today because it is that simple. If it's not that simple, it won't hold. The reason why 70% of change management fails is because we make it far too complex. We don't make it simple enough, and we don't let people do it their way, which sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, it's not. All right, so with my old mate AI the other day, and this is the power of doing this ORCA process, okay? Going through it, I was trying to pump myself up a little bit and going, you know, how many people could have really done what I've just done and got through that first 90 days live streamed with ORCA, through Christmas, through travel periods, all the things that I had stacked against me. And I went, you know what, Benny? Very few, but you're asking the wrong question. The real question is, we're going to go back to day 90 of 90. This one here. Oh no, this one here. ORCA, day 90 of 90. So the real question's not how rare you are. So you're not a unicorn. You might think you are, which is a bit of a letdown because I was hoping to be a unicorn. It said the real question is are you building something that requires someone equally rare to maintain it? Because you're just not going to find them. Okay? I was missing the key point with all of this. It must be simple. This is why I've got this simple, very simple process here, which I teach them all. A variation of this. Learn to see waste and flow. We see it. Stop, fix using ORCA. We do it. Do the debrief. Create lessons learned, photo and videos. Then we teach it, which is what I'm doing every single day. Okay? And spread it laterally across. I'll be going across the industry. At the moment, I'm targeted at one specific project. We share it laterally across a project with school and create what the Japanese call yokoten. Then we do it all again, every day, 9 days in a row. We did. We're up to date, 93 now. $1 million question today is, and I'm going to tell you a story about how this worked on a real job, okay? $1 million question is, on a job, when the pressure rises on a project, what behaviour usually increases first? Because as that post said at the start here, the one that we're currently on, automatic behaviours are running your project, whether you've designed them or not. Whether those automatic behaviours are, let's get rid of boot, I'll bring ChatGPT up. Automatic behaviours are blaming everyone, constantly firefighting, ASAP, priority. This is priority. This is ASAP. This must need to happen now. We're going to actually speak to ASAP tomorrow. 4 letters. ASAP, complete poison. Make things, your process anti-fragile, and it kills your flow. Slowing your project down. Just 4 letters. It's a really bad habit that we've got to in the construction industry with good intentions, trying to speed things up, but it's actually slowing us right down. Now I've lost my way. Right. The project that I come onto, I introduced, I didn't even know the ORCA process when I first started doing this. I'd played with, or not played with, I've been using Scrum for years. One of the most powerful things you can ever do is the morning meeting. I used to run it off a very simple process. What are we doing today? What did we do yesterday? What are we doing today? And what's holding us up? What's stopping us from moving quicker? Those were the three questions that we went through every day. Not once every now and again when we liked it, every single day. The process was fragile, but when we first started, I was on a 10-4 roster. I used to have everything written up on the whiteboard, where we're going, what we're doing, all updated, and the latest schedules pinned to the wall every day. By the time the night shift got their data in, the boys would crank it out, the schedulers, and by 10 o'clock by Smoko, it'd be refreshed. The new day's data would be out there. I'd go out, I was on 10-4 roster, I'd go out for 4 days. You know what used to happen while I was out for the 4 days? Fucking nothing. Nothing would change. Not one schedule would get printed out. Nothing would be written on the board, and a morning meeting wouldn't happen while I was out. I used to ask the schedulers when I come in, what happened over the weekend? The boys run that out, I knew it hadn't, because I could see nothing being written on the board. Nothing being. By repetition, by getting people involved in the process, I suggested to the superintendent, how about we get the senior supervisors to start running the meeting after they'd seen me do it for a while. Didn't make them follow my process. Well, I had a basic process written on the board. These are the things that we covered. They took it and owned it themselves, started doing it. When I started coming back, yeah, they ran it on the meeting. They did the meeting on the weekend. That's the first step. Then they started taking the pens off me. I'll be writing on the board. Senior supers, wait, threw the pen away. Took the pens off. They started writing on the board. The schedulers started taking ownership of making sure the latest run sheets were up on the wall. The piece de resistance, whatever they call it, when I knew the process was no longer fragile, was when I come in one morning and the story about the shut the fuck up cakes poster. They posted that, told me to stand in the corner, out of the way. We got this. We're good. Process wasn't fragile anymore. Process wasn't relying on me. It wasn't relying on one person. There was a couple of different people who would run the morning meeting. There was a couple of different people that would swap out depending on rosters and stuff like that. Put the posters up on the wall, and the senior supers used to update the board once it was set. But you have to get to that point where it's anti-fragile. It happens regardless. It just gets done. That's what we need to do with the ORCA process, which is why, even though I did 90 of them, that was still reliant around the way that I did it. So I've rewritten the prompt, which we're going to test right now. And this prompt should be written so that anyone could run an ORCA, but we're going to test it out in real time because that's how we roll. All right, let's go to our ORCA Wingman Phase 2. Let's create a new one because yesterday we tried to do it and it didn't work particularly well. It was fragile, kept breaking, so we've toughened it up. Let's see how we go. We simplified it as well. So now it asks me, so what should kick it off now is run ORCA debrief. So it skips straight to date, time, location. This is all anyone has to do, right? So open up ChatGPT to run the ORCA session on your site. It is Tuesday, the 24th of February 2026. The time is 7:55 a.m. and the location is Beanie's office in Regent Springs. So what we're doing here, let me transcribe that first. What we're doing is collecting data by getting them to put the date in. Did they do it every day that I wasn't on site? Did they do it at the time that we said we we're going to do it at? By the end of the location that we said we were going to use. Date. So I've asked it to now as well summarise what gets said, confirm it's correct, then move to the next step. Antifragile. That is correct. What is the objective of this mission? The only objective today was to test this new ORCA wingman. The objective today is to test this, the new ORCA wingman. Make sure you're anti-fragile. Titan objective. Objective, test the ORCA debrief wingman, V1, for robustness and stability. Is that correct? It's actually ORCA wingman, phase 2. The rest of it's correct. See if he corrects it. He should come back and ask me, tightened objective. Test ORCA debrief wingman, phase 2, for robustness and stability. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. This is working way better already. Anyone can do this process. Anyone can answer the questions. Give it feedback, say yes or no. That was what I said, that was not what you said. The results so far is we have a far better ORCA wingman than we did yesterday. You're asking me the correct questions in the correct sequence. So you're coming back to me and asking, you do a summary and then you come back to me and ask, is this correct? Results so far is that it is all looking good. The mission is looking like we're going to achieve it flawlessly. Because what we'll then do, we'll make this run weekly. It'll pull weekly the data from the week, date, location, time, results, causes, actions. Did we close them out? We'll pull that out for the week. And we can look back at the data and say, did we do what we say we were going to do? What specifically happened? Described observable results. What specifically happened is you're asking the right questions in the right sequence, and we're capturing data that we're going to be able to use at the end of the week to improve our process and make it more anti-fragile every time that we run it. The wingman asked questions in the correct sequence. Each step included a summary and confirmation before advancing. Structured data was captured for later, weekly review and process improvement. Is this correct? Yes, that's correct. This is completely different to the one I ran before. The one before used to require me to keep it on track. You would have noticed a few times I had to pull it up. This one still might have to yet. People feed it the wrong way. It should stay on track. But this is, the objective with it is, we're making it anti-fragile, so every mistake that we make improves it, and anyone can run it. What caused those results? There's a process that I use via Ed Dale called the prompt wrangling process. So I spent quite a bit of time prompt wrangling another GPT yesterday to write the prompt for you to run. See if that's enough. The critical change point was we asked the question, why are we doing this? So we're making it anti-fragile, so every mistake improves it and anyone can run it. When we asked that question, what they did was give us clarity on what we needed to build, so it created a better output. I got it to ask little questions as well. Causes, Titan causes. A structural prompt wrangling process was applied. A clarity question was introduced. What is the purpose of this? That clarification defined the design requirement, anti-fragile, repeatable and run by anyone. The clarity improved the final prompt output. Is this correct? Yes, that's correct. So when pressure rises on a project, what behaviour usually increases first? I reckon A is going to be the number one. Meetings, which is good, that's fine. But we need to run good meetings. There's a great book called Meetings Suck. Well, we suck at running them. If you want to shorten the time of your meetings, we need to get people to speak to the problems and speak with intent, not waffle and carry on. One of the reasons, probably seen previous videos where I've used that. I took that little timer onto a site that I was on to keep meetings short, sharp. What are the actions? Be specific. The actions today is to finish this test off on a LinkedIn Live, write another post with what actually we achieved this morning. So it's a Tuesday, it's a show pro. So we give proof, share a story, example, result, or client wins that shows your method in action. So we're going to use this session as how we do that. And what I'm going to get you to do at the end of this is when this session's finished, I'm going to ask you to write a summary of the ORCA. Actually, we're going to use that as a process improvement. I'm going to get you to write a summary of an ORCA of this session so that I can hand that across to another wingman that I've got that'll write that post for LinkedIn. Conduct a LinkedIn Live today to complete the live test of ORCA Debrief Wingman Phase 2. Yes, use this session to proof content for a Tuesday show pro post. At session end, generate a written ORCA summary of this debrief. That is correct. Who is doing what by when to the board? So it's telling me I need to write on the board who's doing what by when. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little improvement here. We've made 2 improvements today. I'm going to get it to do I'm going to go back to the other wingman and get him to rewrite the prompt with 2 little actions. So a summary at the end of each ORCA. This is for me now. And then I'm going to ask it to ask for an upload of the photo, who, what, when, and then he can summarize that and then ask the question the next day at the start of the next ORCA. Did these actions get completed or are they incomplete? Previous actions have been reviewed and all of them are closed. Just say that for today. Debrief completed. Okay, can you now do that summary for me, please? Give me what the context is. We're going to write a Tuesday show pro, which is a give proof, show an example, which this is an example of how we have created something that was anti-fragile. Yesterday it was fragile. It fell apart. Now we've made it, because we asked that why question, we're making it anti-fragile so every mistake improves it and anyone can run it. Can you give me that summary to hand off to another wingman called Mox, who will write, tell him that you're giving it across to him. Benny's asked you to give this across to him and ask him to write a banger, B-A-N-G-E-R, Tuesday post for the recap of this ORCA debrief session. Message prompt. Mox, handover brief from ORCA Wingman. Beanie has asked me to pass this directly to you. This is a structured summary of this morning's ORCA debrief session to be shown as a foundation for a Tuesday show proof post. Objective, write a banger, Tuesday proof that proves the method works by showing this live anti-fragile improvement in action. This session was a live test of ORCA. Yesterday it was fragile, it drifted, it skipped steps, it lacked clarity and reinforcement. Today's version held structure, objective, test, causes, actions. Perfect. Core narrative angle for the post. Yesterday, fragile. Mox. Why has he written it twice? Okay. What's now? Let's write the
Mox,
post.
handover brief from ORCA.
No, I don't want you to talk to me. Okay. Where's me Mox? Mox. Give that to Mox. He'll write a post, and then we'll give it to the banger bot. The banger bot reviews it. This is how we do this one. Social media with extreme confidence. Perfect. That's exactly a raw material for a Tuesday show. Yesterday's ORCA debrief, wingman drifted, skip steps, losing sequence. In other words, fragile. This morning we read phase 2 under live conditions. Same operator, same environment, same operator, different outcome. Questions led to the ORCA sequence. No steps skipped. Process held. Okay, copy that. Hey BangerBot, just give you some context. So we're live on LinkedIn right at the moment, okay? Anti-fragile, obviously, is today's post, and you wrote that question, which is down the bottom. When pressure rises on a project, what behaviour usually increases first? Meetings, escalations, firefighting. Drop the ladder. Silence, drop the ladder. I reckon meeting's going to be the thing. Anyway, I'm off track. Let's get back. I got the new ORCA Wingman to drop a summary out of the difference between yesterday and today with the ORCA process. Remembering our key question for reason for building this, why we're building this new ORCA Wingman, was we're making it anti-fragile, so every mistake improves it and anyone can run it. Obviously the audience is our usual, which is the project directors, GMs, EGMs for Snow Hydro project. And Mox has written the banger post, which is another Tuesday post to show what we're talking about under pressure, which is what we've done today. Okay, this is so this post will redirect them back to this live as well. Can you assess the banger and tell us what you think? Just let that transcribe. Paste that banger in there. More context you can give it, the better. Word vomit. Adele says, because this is the right kind of post for today. Show proof, not theory. Now, here's the honest assessment at a PED EGM. What's strong? Shows contrast. Fragile versus anti-fragile. Yesterday versus today. Today observable. That's good structure. This line works. Same environment, same operator, different income. That's outcome. That's clean. That signals design change, not effort change. Execs like that. This is strong. By removing ambiguity at the design level, that snow level language, that's structural. Where it's still slightly soft. Right now it feels like we improved the wingman, but your audience is not buying a wingman. They're buying execution reliability, reduced escalation, stable sequencing, fewer surprises. You need one bridge line that translates wingman improvement project level implication. That one line it needs, after drift disappeared, insert, that's the difference between escalation, noise, forecast, confidence. Second micro tighten. This section, questions held under ORCA sequence, no skips. It's good but slightly long. Cut one line. Remove structure remains. Strategic check. Does this dilute? Who positioning? No. Does it reinforce any fragility? Yes. Does it sound like consultant theatre? No. Does it speak to snow level operators? Almost, once you add the consequence. This is close. Okay, so we'll go back. You've got to be specific here, okay? Because if I just say to put those tweaks in, it will run off on its own adventure and rewrite the post. So this is what I do. Hey Mox, this is feedback from the Banger Bot for you for context. What he's given you 2 micro tweaks to do. Everything else stays word for word. You do not change anything else. You just do the 2 micro tweaks. If I don't do that, what I get back is a post that's nothing like the first one. I'll just rewrite the post. Or like that. I haven't post rewritten numerous times. That's making the process anti-fragile as well. Giving it clear instructions. This is good practice for your people as well. The more you get better at giving this thing instructions, the more you improve, the more anti-fragile your instructions to your own people will become. Right, let's throw that back at Mox and see what he says.
Locked. Only the 2 micro tweaks applied. Nothing else changed. ORCA Day 93.
Bot. Okay, Banger Bot, here's the new post with the 2 micro tweaks. Everything else should be word for word. This is strong. This now reads like controlled experiment, observed delta, design level correction, executive consequence, not theory, not inspiration, not we learned a lot. What's working now? Contrast is clean. Fragile versus agile, anti-fragile is shown, not described. That's important. This block is tight. Same environment, same operator, different outcome. That's high trust language, no drama, just signal. This is the money line. That's the difference between escalation noise and forecast confidence. That's the executive bridge. That's what was missing before. That line upgrades the whole post. The design constraint section works. What is the purpose of this? That feels real, not constructed, not contenty. Micro polish, optional 2% gain. This section, nothing motivational change could change to nothing else changed. Stronger, less abstract, but this is minor, not required. The strategic fit check. This now reinforces anti-fragile logic, reinforces constraint clarity, reinforces design effort. Signals maturity, doesn't drift into leadership fluff, doesn't dilute who positioning. This is snow level, Tuesday, proof content. Verdict, post it. This is a proper, show proof, follow up. If you want the next leverage point, pin comment, should drive replay. Go nuclear on the pin comment. Give me that as well. By that he's going, how much level of emotion do you want me to put into the pin comment to drive people back to the first post? If we're going nuclear, we're not inviting, we're filtering. Here are 3 nuclear tier pin comments. Pick your weapon, filter. If you can't tolerate your execution model breaking under pressure, don't watch this. If you can, replay is here. Escalation noise is not bad luck, it's fragile design. If that stings, watch the replay. I like that one. Option 3, hard who energy. If your process only works when you're personally driving it, it's already dead. Replays here. That's it. That's the one. Option 3 is the hardest. Right. Done. Take that, use it. Imagine the ways that you could be using that on your project. We're going to see how fragile the process is here. And remember to answer that question. When the pressure rises on a project, what behaviourally usually increases first? Meetings? A. B. Escalations? C. Firefighting? D. Silence. Drop the letter. Or those 4 letters. Remember, tomorrow we're coming back to that. ASAP is poison. Take it, use it, make a great week. Hopefully, I've got an outro here that you can watch. Speak soon. They told me, you can't do that here, Beanie. It might sound good in one of your books, but this is a construction site. You can't build a learning environment here. But I didn't start with a touchy-feely feel-good program or some poster. It started with a shelf. One shelf, a few books, a marble, a cricket ball, and a football. That's how you build a learning environment. Not with noise, but with signals. Signals that say, we improve here and we think here. We actually give a about getting better together. Human beings don't just need motivation. They need a purpose, autonomy, and a shot at mastery. When you build that into your environment, your team will grow and they will improve. And what happens next is they start to own the change with you. You want to build your culture? Start with a shelf.